Hi, my name is Jennifer Cook. I'm going to be reading a ghost story called A Haunted Island. I'm choosing to read a ghost story because the supernatural has always interested me. I love horror movies and enjoy reading ghost stories on a daily basis. The Haunted Island by Algernon Blackwood. The following events occurred on a small island of isolated position in a large Canadian lake, to whose cool waters the inhabitants of Montreal and Toronto flee for rest and recreation in the hot months. It is only to be regretted that the events of such particular interest to the genuine student of physics should be entirely uncollaborated. Such, unfortunately, however, is the case. Our own party of nearly 20 had returned to Montreal that very day, and I was left in the solitary position for a week or two longer, in order to accomplish some important reading for the law which I had foolishly neglected during the summer. It was late in September, and the big trout and Manascone were stirring themselves in the depths of the lake and beginning slowly to move up the surface waters as the north winds and early frosts lowered their temperature. Already the maples were crimson and gold, and the wild laughter of the loons echoed in sheltered bays that never knew their strange cry in the summer. With the whole island to oneself, the two-story cottage, a canoe, and only the chipmunks, and the farmer's weekly visits with eggs and bread to disturb one, the opportunities for hard reading might be very great. It all depends. The rest of the party had gone off with many warnings to beware of the Indians, and not to stay late enough to be the victim of the frost that thinks nothing of 40 below zero. After they had gone, the loneliness of the situation made itself unpleasantly felt. There are no other islands within 6 or 7 miles, and though the mainland forests lay a couple miles behind me, they stretched for a very great distance, unbroken by any signs of human habitation. But through the island was completely deserted and silent. The rocks and the trees that had echoed human laughter and voices almost every hour of the day for 2 months could not fail to retain some memories of it all, and I am not surprised to fancy that I heard a shout or a cry as I passed from rock to rock, and the more once to imagine that I heard my own name called aloud. In the cottage there were 6 tiny bedrooms divided from one another by plain, unvarnished portions of pine. With a wooden bedstead, a mattress, and a chair stood in each room, but I found only 2 mirrors, and one of these was broken. The boards creaked a good deal as I moved about, and the signs of occupation were so recent that I could hardly believe I was alone. I half expected to find someone left behind, but still trying to crowd into a box more than it would hold. The door of one room was stiff and refused for a moment to open, and required very little persuasion to imagine someone was holding the handle on the inside, and that's when I opened I should meet a pair of human eyes. As thorough search of the floor led me to select as my own sleeping quarters a little room with a balcony over a roof top. The room was very small, but the bed was very large, and had the best mattress of them all. It was situated directly over the room where I should live and do my reading, and the miniature window looked out the rising sun.